India's leading virtual career fair for diversity. Discover over 5,000 jobs at companies that celebrate you. Find a workplace that's equally yours between the 12th to the 14th of November. Enroll now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Geethanjali, and I am thrilled to have Razia Shaikh with us today. With over 18 years of experience in talent acquisition, Razia currently heads global recruitment for Synchron across regions like India, APAC, and EMEA. Uh, she's a true champion when it comes to diversity hiring across underrepresented groups, including veterans, PWD, LGBTQAI individuals, those with neurological differences, men on career breaks, returning mothers, and those from varied ethnic backgrounds. She has pioneered inclusive workplaces through AI and agile strategies. And today, she will be sharing her thoughts on why many companies struggle to fully support women and diverse talent and what they can do to fix it. So let's jump right in and start by understanding the challenges. Razia, in your experience, what are the most common challenges that companies face when trying to be more inclusive for diverse talent?
Okay, firstly, Geethanjali, thank you for giving me this opportunity and be a part of this session. I would say thank you to the founded team. This is a really a great initiative. And the question which you have asked, it's really a great question in today's scenario. See, the main concern, the main challenge, I would say, in today's industry, many people don't know what DNI really means or why it is important or which can lead to resistance. There can be many reasons to it, like unconscious bias. Everybody has a bias that can affect hiring and promotions, so training is essential to help people recognize and reduce the biases. The second is the poor communication. If GNI efforts aren't clearly communicated, employees may not get involved. The transparency level needs to be at a very high level when you really want to implement DNI in any organization. The major challenge which all the organizations face is the limited resources. Many want to improve but struggle with budget and staff. Creative solutions like employee resource group can help this. Even I would say the cultural resistance. Change can be uncomfortable, so it is important for leaders to set up positive examples and encourage open discussion. And the last thing is the measuring the progress. Without clear goals, it is hard to see if efforts are going or working. The organization needs to track their progress regularly. So I think by tackling these challenges, organization can create a more inclusive workplace where everybody feels valued. And this could be one of the key initiative where we can overcome the DNI hiring piece.
Thank you for sharing that. Following up on that, Razia, despite having DNI policies in place, many companies still struggle, to fully support women or diverse talent for that matter. What do you think? Why do you think that is the case?
See, the companies always face these issues, and there are like many factors, but I just wanted to highlight the few of them. And one of them is the lack of commitment. You know, policy exists in all the organization, but leadership may not truly back them or really change the doesn't happen. The real change doesn't happen. The insufficient training, there is not enough training, I would say, to be help everyone to understand and implement the DNI and the policies further. Even the resource constraint is one of the challenge. When I say the lack of commitment, along with lack of commitment, even it comes the accountability. So without clear goals and accountability, the DNI efforts can easily, get stalled. And
True.
these real challenges need strong commitment and action beyond just the policies. It's always we need to create that graceful and empathic environment also, the work environment especially, where
True.
the DNI feel comfortable, where they have the feeling of belongingness,
Yeah.
and all those stuff. There are many things,
Yes.
but these are the few things which I wanted to highlight.
Sure. Sure. I know that you've been a strong advocate for diversity hiring across various underrepresented groups. What are some of the strategies have that you have found most effective for attracting and retaining diverse talent?
This is another great question, and absolutely, like there are like many strategies which we need to create at the ground level in a practical terms, depending upon the situation to situation. But to just have a basic foundations to make this strategies really implemented or actionable or successful. There are few one which I really want to highlight in this session. One is the user inclusive job description. When I say that, we have to make the job description very inclusive, welcoming the diverse candidate, focus on the skills instead of specific degrees or experience. And we have to focus on what value they will be getting onto the table and how the organization and even the candidate will be benefited out of it. The second is like rather than having a typical recruitment model, we need to move into an expensive or we need to expand the recruitment channel. We need to partner with the diverse organization by various channels, like by attending the career fairs, by attending or creating or organizing a symposium where we are uh, where we are creating the awareness about the DNI, about the career roadmap, how we can uh, bring value to their careers or how they can bring value to the organization in a two-way communication. Then, even at the same time, IGP, we should leverage the employee referral program also,
Right.
because that is one of the great initiative where we can attract this talent. And definitely training to the hiring managers, because once we get the talent, it is very important to sustain that talent, to retain that talent, and we have to deal with this talent in a different way, where we need to educate the hiring manager in terms of managing this talent, in terms of engaging this talent, in terms of creating a roadmap for this talent, the career development programs. Then create at the same time the mentorship programs also. This mentorship will create or establish or that sponsorship opportunities between the diverse talent and with the organization also. So it will be like a win-win situation for both of them. And again, I'm coming to my point that we need to build up an inclusive work culture. Without that, DNI won't be successful.
Absolutely, Razia. I mean, I couldn't agree more with that. Speaking of strategies, you've implemented some unique AI and agile strategies in your recruitment processes. Could you please share an example of how these technologies have helped foster a more inclusive hiring process?
So, yes, another great question, Geethanjali. We call this era as a new age recruitment. Uh, Recruitment is not a typical what we were used to drive, like the old school methods. It's completely different what we used to drive 10 years before. And from last 2 years, AI is playing a very crucial role into the industry, not only while it comes to the commodity hiring, niche skill hiring, but even in the diversity hiring, it's playing a very crucial role. And few of the AI implementation which I have done in Synchron and in my past organization is like uh, AI powered screening. So we are engaging certain tools which is helping us to screen these profiles. And what it helps and how it helps is like the biasness, because we are using a tool. So here we don't get an opportunity to discriminate between the diversities or between the other form of diversities. It's completely very unbiased tool which helps particularly in screening the profiles, matching the job descriptions and all other parameters. The secondly, when I say the AI powered screening, even the skill assessment. So rather than, we converted a lot of first level of interviews into the skill assessment programs, like by introducing online assessment through Metal, through HackerEarth, through CodeLink, many things. So, and this is really helping us not only to do the unbiased hiring, but at the same time, it is bringing a lot of value addition in terms of doing the quality hiring. And again, the data-driven insights, we are using a lot of market insights tools, which is helping us to analyze the hiring strategies across the industry, where the diverse talent is located, which organization is having, which location is having, and how they are hiring. So a lot of, from the data-driven insights, we are getting a lot of insights, and it is helping us to make our own strategies, how to attract this diversity, how to onboard this diversity talent to the organization. And the most important is, Geethanjali, is the streamlined communication. So AI chatbots, we are using the AI chatbots, which is providing a lot of streamlined communication to candidates. And it has played a very crucial role when it coming to the diversity candidates, where there is the like a personalized chatbots answering all their queries, taking them to step, what is their next step. Even if sometimes we tend to give some more information about the organization, about the role, about the opportunity. So accordingly, the candidates are preparing themselves. Not only the diversity candidate, across I'm talking about.
Yes.
And
Yes.
even the candidate always has a complaint from the HR, especially from the recruiter, that they don't get the feedback, and always they get a comment that the recruiter say, "We'll come back to you." And there are a lot of reels also have made where the recruitment never come back to them,
Right.
because even recruiters' life is bit tough, stressor. And this chat box, especially the communication feedback loops, is playing a crucial role, and it is helping us to communicate the candidate on every stage of their recruitment process, which process they are, which step they are, how they have to prepare themselves for the next level, and many other parameters. And this is enhancing our candidate engagement journey throughout the recruitment process. So yes, AI is playing a great role, not only for the diversity, but AI has really taken care in three forms for me, at least. One is the screening, quality hiring, and the candidate engagement journey.
Absolutely. You know, that's true. Not only is it efficient, but it's unbiased and the engagement is better. So, the overall experience for the candidates is better. Absolutely makes sense. So, Razia, I was asking you, what role do you think technology should play in promoting, diversity and inclusion in recruitment and talent management?
See, technology, as we already discussed about the AI, and it has already started playing a crucial role. And I told you about the three parameters where I have been successful in using the AI technologies in recruitment. One is definitely the screening process, the
Right,
unbiased screening process. Secondly, the online assessment. Third is the candidate engagement.
right,
Okay. And fourth thing is, like, if the candidates, giving them a clear communication about the organization, keeping them appraised about the upcoming opportunities. Branding is one of the key skills. With the help of the technology, we can brand about the DNI, about the organization, what differently we are doing from the other organization, what are the key benefits we are giving it to the diversity candidates, how the career roadmap is planned for the diversity candidates. And along with that, I would say, even the upskilling programs, even those needs to be highlighted. So these are the few things I think, we should take technology as the key thing while attracting or while onboarding the diversity candidate. The awareness, the key awareness through digitalization, I think is the key in today's world, because until and unless you don't create that awareness, that how you're planning to onboard, or what are the great things you're doing within the organization for the diversity where you're running various programs. The communication, the branding is the key in today's organization.
So the next question is, you mentioned that companies sometimes, more often than not, struggle to support women and diverse talent adequately. Could you expand a little on specific areas that they tend to fall short, and what they can do or how can they improve?
As we already discussed, and I want to highlight on the same points because I think these are the key areas where, in fact, 90% of the organization in today's world, okay, at least in India, are struggling with this. One is the lack of commitment. Policies often lack real support, but from the leadership also, we need to have that kind of a support, that kind of a zeal to drive the diversity programs, because these programs requires a lot of investment of time, infrastructure, and other engagement policies and programs as well. And for that, we really need to have a strong leadership who has a very strong and firm, belief in implementing the DNI in the organization. The secondly, as I mentioned, is the insufficient training. Uh, all the employees are not privileged to get the enough DNI training, and that's the reason most of the time this DNI initiative programs gets to failure. But at the same time, if we give them enough training on the DNI piece, okay, on the EVP piece, about the branding, I think this training programs will really help the organization to grow, specifically in the DNI level. Then limited resource, as I already mentioned, because a lot of investment of time and energy and resources are involved. There are may not be enough resources, or there might not be enough budget with the organization to run certain programs in an effective manner. This could be one of the reason. And the cultural resistance, the old biases are hard to change, and change is very difficult to get in any organization. And for example, if an organization is running in a particular fashion or in a particular process for a certain amount of time, like maybe for 10 years or 12 years, it will be very difficult for them to make them understand about this certain programs, the DNI, the new initiative, the AI in recruitment. And that's the reason the training program plays a crucial, which will bring them an awareness about the DNI. DNI not only means to the female candidate, but there are so many forms of DNI. If somebody asks me what is a diversity hiring, even in my interview process, have you done diversity hiring? Yes, the candidates say yes, we have hired the female. They tell me not many programs about the females, but nobody is really concentrating on the other part of the diversity. That is, nobody is concentrating on the men's on break. Even men do take breaks, but nobody is concentrating. In the veteran, they are only concentrating on army, but nobody is concentrating on the other shape of veterans, that is Air Force, Navy, BSF. There are so many. PWD, even LGBTQI, they're hiring the talent, they are onboarding the talent, but they are not in a position of retaining that talent because of insufficient training to the hiring managers, because we have not created that conscious awareness within the hiring managers or within the team or on the floor how we should deal with this LGBTQI candidates. And I struggle a lot when we were doing a hiring for neurodiversity candidates. In fact, we have to revamp the entire hiring process because we have to give enough training to the hiring managers, to the peers who will be working with these neurodiversity candidates. So, before initiating, according to my experience through failures and success, Gitanjali, before initiating any DNI programs, or if you want to hire any diversity in any group or in any organization, I think the awareness and the sufficient training will be a key to make any diversity program successful.
Absolutely. In fact, in my own experience, when I ask people of their hiring outlook for the year and where do they stand when it comes to diversity, most answers are related to women hiring only, because I think awareness is lacking there, that diversity goes beyond just women hiring, right? Uh, that is definitely very insightful, Razia. Thank you so much. You also spoke of leadership here. Now let's talk about the role of leadership in D&I. And I would like to understand, how can leaders go beyond policies to drive real cultural change in the organizations?
This is a great question. In fact, a tricky question, to be very honest with you. So, yes, leaders play a key when you're driving any programs, not only the diversity programs or DNI programs, any programs to that matter, because a lot of commitment is involved when you're driving any program, especially from the leadership. And a few other key things, according to me, which I have again learned through my failures and success, and I just wanted to tell that only, is the modeling the behavior.
Okay.
You know, they should actively demonstrate inclusive behavior when you are implementing or getting into action any new programs, be it diversity programs, any recruitment programs, or to that matter, any initiative they are running which they really want to implement. The second, which is the most clear key thing, is this setting up the clear goals. Okay, when you want to establish the DNI program, you need to establish a measurable goals for it. You need to have a target and hold them responsible to whoever you're assigning this target. You have to make this program completely inclusive, collaborative, and accountable. Until and unless you don't have these three parameters, this DNI will be a really difficult to implement in any organization. And
Right.
the most important is the open dialogue. There should be a two-way of open dialogue. And until and unless you don't create that cohesive environment, you won't be in a position of creating that open dialogue environment. And the most important is the recognitions and the rewards. Until unless you don't create that awareness or this initiative of recognition and rewards, uh, somewhere even if you hire the diversity, they won't have the feeling of belongingness. They won't be having the feeling of they have been included into that function. So these are the key things which the leaders needs to keep in mind while initiating or driving this DNI program, especially.
Definitely, Razia. You spoke of metrics, or numbers, or the goals that you have to clearly set when trying to achieve this. What are some of the metrics or indicators that a company should track uh, to check their progress on DNI initiatives?
So the few of the key metrics I have taken from the best practices from the organization, and few of them, basis on my analysis and basis on my experience, have initiated and inculcated into the process. The one is the diversity hiring. Measure the percentage of the diverse candidate hired and compare with overall applicants.
Okay.
So see how many female candidates you're hiring, the PWD, the veterans, what are the percentage, and identify the roles where you can fit this diverse candidate easily without taking extra efforts or training. So, try to have that kind of an approach where this diversity candidates can be easily fit rather than getting into a rigorous training programs and creating that awareness program. That is the one. The second is where I have worked with the HR business partner in terms of the retention of this talent, how we are successful, what is the retention rate in the current organization, which form of diversity we are not in a position of retaining it. Why? Because that awareness is very important. At the same time, if there is an attrition, for example, LGBTQI, We are onboarding, but in the third month, the candidate is moving out of the organization. So we are just onboarding and the candidate is going out. What is it? So we need to identify the root cause. The root
Right.
cause analysis will give us the clear picture where we are failing and how we can control that. What
Right.
are the measurable steps we can take to avoid the attrition into that particular piece? And basis of those analysis and whatever the outcomes, basis on that, we reinitiate the hiring program. So at the same time, it should not happen. So, for example, I will say in my previous organization, we were onboarding the LGBTQI, but in the third month, we were not in a position of retaining that talent. And when we did a root cause analysis, we created a business case, and we found that they were not having a common washroom. Means, they were not having a different. They were like men's, female, PWD, and they were not having the washroom for themselves. And that is how we got to know. That was the main reason, and that is how we were successful in creating a washroom for them. That is called as others. Even the awareness, like they were like because this when we are hiring the diversity candidate, Gitanjali, we need to be very cautious about certain things while we are communicating. So the awareness, creating the awareness with the hiring manager and the peers. So even if you're running the programs, even if you're onboarding the diversity candidate, but how successful you are in retaining those talent in your organization, are you creating that environment? So again, the leader has to play a very crucial role over here also. Then even we did one more analysis in my past organization, and even I'm doing in my current organization also. It's about the promotion. What is the promotion rates? What kind of diversity is getting promoted? What are the parameters of getting this candidate promoted to the next level? How we are creating their career journey in the organization? What is the roadmap is discussed with them? And what are the extra initiatives we are taking to uplift them for the next role or prepare them for the next role? Are we taking enough of this initiative? So this is one of the I would say the business case we are running parallelly. Then even at the same time we have, again I'm mentioning where the leader needs to create the cohesive environment, so where we can have the two way of communication. So when I say two way of communication, we have the employee feedback program which we run every quarter with this diverse talent. So we need to understand what is going good for them, what is not going good for them, and how we can make it better. Okay, so this feedback program is really helping us to make this model sustainable.
Right. Thank you so much for that interesting insight. I think making the talent feel welcomed in the organization is equally important, if not more. It can be as little as having a washroom dedicated for them. Uh, Absolutely agreed. And I think the point that you made about doing a root cause analysis, because that's what we do with any problem, right? So yeah, I think that's great. So Razia, I know you've also pioneered initiatives for to support returning mothers and men on breaks, right? Men on career breaks. What are some of the key factors that organizations should consider when say designing a similar program for their organization for to help their people re-enter the workforce?
See, when you talk about return to work programs, be it for female candidates or male candidates, they have taken a break into their career because of some personal emergency. So even when you're onboarding this form of diversity, be it male or female, you need to understand why they have taken the break and what is the responsibility they are holding back home. After analyzing their situation, we need to create a cohesive environment if we really want to get a meaning to the diversity. Diversity for the namesake, if you're doing, then there is no point. But if you really want to give a real meaning to the diversity, then you need to understand for what they have taken the break and how we can make their life more better while they take care of the personal and the financial and the professional aspects of their life. So after doing again the analysis, I'm a lady who do a lot of research and analysis. Sorry for that, but that is my way of working. So after doing this analysis, like we need to create certain programs for them. One is like the most important in the current era after the COVID or post-COVID, I would say, is the flexible work options. Offer part-time or remote work to certain case by case or certain to this transition phase of their life that will give them a good base to start their career back. Again, if they have taken a long break, maybe a 6 months and above break, we need to have certain comprehensive training programs for them before we deploy them on any of the project. The third thing I would say, even if you have deployed them into any project, mentorship program plays a crucial role over here. The guidance, the day-to-day mentorship, the day-to-day help, the support helps them to uplift them and prepare them, and which can they easily or swiftly can return back to their own professional journey. Okay. And the most important is the clear communication. So because they have taken a break due to their personal commitments, and here the clear communication plays a very crucial role in terms of expectation settings. The clear expectation setting not only with the hiring manager but with the candidate also. And the most important is the inclusive, collaborative, and graceful environment for them. So these are the key things which I will recommend.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Before we wrap up, I would love for you to share one piece of advice for organizations that are just starting their DE&I journey. What's that one thing that they should keep in mind to ensure that they're on the right path?
So I will just say the first thing is that be graceful. Start by listening, gather the inputs, put your experience on the front foot, and be accountable whenever you're initiating or you want to get the DNA into actionable. These are the piece of advice I really want to give to any leader who is initiating this program.
You so much for that. And thank you. It has been a really enlightening conversation, and it is my privilege that, I got to learn so many things about diversity, so many nuances about, diversity hiring. So I think, and I hope that the audience today, everyone here has taken away something valuable out of this conversation. Thanks again, Razia.
Thank you, Geethanjali, and thank you to the founded team. Thank you very much. And this is really a great initiative where you're creating the awareness and I would say the conscious mindset within the organization and the leaders and the hiring managers especially. So thank you very much. This is a great initiative.
Thank you, Razia.